Most in the playoffs.
Oh, Damian Lillard, easily. Look.
You serious?
Alright, so the gist of today's video is going to be, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, there's a notion that's out there that Damian Lillard, along with Kyrie, but we're going to stick for Dame for right now, that Damian Lillard is a more clutch or a more pressured playoff performer than Steph Curry. This is not true. Damian Lillard is actually probably a tad bit overrated actually as a playoff performer. Yes, Damian Lillard has had some great moments, some great series, some great games. I'm not denying that in the postseason, but this notion that he's like some all-time great playoff performer is not true. The notion that he is like this super duper clutch playoff performer is not true. The notion that he shows up in big games all the time is not true. The notion that he's just this way better playoff performer under the clutch than Steph Curry is not true. So today, that's kind of what I'm going to be doing here. I want to create almost, I guess you want to say, is it like a myth-busting-ish type style video? All right, so let's get into it.
Most in the playoffs.
Oh, Damian Lillard, easily. Look, it seems like I'm piling on Steph with this stuff, but, like, let's be honest, everybody.
Well, if we're being honest, how the hell can you say that you will definitely take Damian Lillard over Steph Curry in the postseason? If we're being honest, when Steph Curry, even though again this is like a year and a half ago, this is back when Steph Curry had that 32-point season or whatever. But the reason why I'm using this is because A, Max Kellerman was one of the main guys pushing this narrative, and B, this notion or this narrative is still actually believed by a lot of people today. And also, I see a lot of people say this all the time that, Steph Curry Damian Lillard's just way more clutch. He's gonna hit way more clutch shots, so he's more likely to hit a game winner. Again, number one, there's a couple ways to look at that. Number two, Damian Lillard's great at hitting game winning shots. And what if you're up by 10? What if you're up by 15? What if you're up by 8? Right? You see what I'm trying to say? So, does that make you less of a clutch player because your team is consistently not in those type of situations where you need to be a hero at the end of the game, winning at the buzzer? Or if your team is, because I'd rather be up 10. That's just me. But even still, what has Damian Lillard done in the postseason, both either leading the team or team success, or as an individual, that would be enough for us to say? I mean, again, I'm not even talking about addressing this year. I'm talking about even at that time when Steph Curry was just a 3-time champion, a two times MVP, and been to 5 straight finals. What did Damian Lillard do in order to prove that he was a better player than Steph Curry? He never won more games in the regular season. He never won more games in the postseason. He never had a better individual matchup statistically versus Steph Curry. And his team has never won a game when Steph Curry has played and Damian Lillard has played in the postseason. So how the hell can you say that Damian Lillard is a better postseason performer than Steph Curry and say it clearly? Right? That kind of doesn't make sense because there's no evidence to provide for that. You understand? It's strange.
Steph won a championship, when LeBron didn't have Kyrie or Kevin Love. Still went 6 games. Stop. By the way, he wasn't MVP of that series. Like, they looked at, we can't give this to Steph. All right, give it to the guy who guarded LeBron, Iguodala.
Yeah, which was a terrible mistake and the wrong decision. But either way, again, why are you trying to mention the finals as a reason to why Damian Lillard's a better player performer than Steph when, ta-da, Damian Lillard never been to the finals? You understand? Like, this doesn't quite make sense.
I got it. And then he lost a 73-win season to LeBron. And then they added KD. Steph was no longer the best player on the team. And they won 2 championships. He's played in 5 finals, has yet to win a finals MVP. Come on, Damian Lillard, we see it with our eyes. He hasn't been on teams like Steph's been on. Not even close. But Damian?
Right, but you can't use the team excuse when Steph Curry has better playoff numbers than Damian Lillard on average in terms of just his playoff career, and also has better playoff numbers on average versus Damian Lillard head-to-head. So you cannot use the team argument in that sense when Steph Curry is always outperforming him no matter the circumstances or the situation. And again, you just mentioned that we know Damian Lillard. Come on, yeah, we know that Damian Lillard is 10-0. Oh, sorry, 0-10. Steph Curry's 10-0 versus him head-to-head in the postseason with better statistics all around. Again, you just said Steph Curry's been to 5 finals without an MVP. How many finals has Damian Lillard been to? I'm talking about during that time. Even right now, obviously. How many? 0. How many Western Conference Finals? 1. Oh, and by the way, in that Western Conference Finals, since you're mentioning Kevin Durant, right? So you're going to use that, the team excuse. During that Western Conference Finals, it was at 2019. The only one Damian Lillard's ever been to, by the way. Oh, and by the way, the reason why they got there was because C.J. McCollum was the one that turned up in Game 7 at Denver, not Dame. There was no KD in that series. It was just the Splash Brothers, Steph Curry and Clay, versus Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum. And then you had Draymond Green, and you had Nurkic, and was Nurkic there and Cantor? I can't remember. I believe Nurkic was there. I can't quite remember. And they got swept. But not only did they get swept, the clutch Damian Lillard under the playoffs was one of the greatest, arguably on level of Michael Jordan playoff performer in terms of the clutch. Why did he choke 3 straight, was it 17-plus leads? I believe it was 17 point lead in Game 2. Was it an 18-point lead in Game 3? And then another 17 point lead in Game 4? And I believe didn't they lose one of them in overtime? Like, how did that happen if he's such this clutch performer? How? And again, you cannot use, in terms of why Damian Lillard is better than Steph Curry's finals performance, in which he was great in, by the way, as a reason as to why Dame is better than him. Because I guess you're alleging that Damian Lillard would have never performed that bad in the finals. I mean, we don't know that because he's never been close to getting there. And in fact, in order for Steph Curry to get to those 5 finals, did you know the person he had to beat to get there? Do you want to know? He had to beat one guy 3 years in order to get to the finals. And outplayed them every one. Which one was it? Oh, it was Damian Lillard and the Portland Trail Blazers. He had to beat them 3 times to get there. Again, so how is he better? And again, I got the numbers and all that stuff. I'm going to post some, like maybe at the end of the video, like their individual playoff stats, their stats in elimination games, their stats head-to-head, their postseason career stats, all of that. Their record in the postseason, their record in elimination games. And the reason why I'm going to compare them statistically, which I don't necessarily think is the way to go all the time, or a lot of times. Why? Because again, number one, different positions require different roles on teams, different play styles of players. So you cannot just simply put up someone's stats and say, well, this guy's better stats, so therefore he's the better or more impactful player. No, that's not the case at all. That just means he puts up a lot of good stats. That's like saying Anthony Davis is better than Steph Curry because he's going to put up better all around numbers, right? Anthony Davis is probably going to average around the same, if not a little bit more points, more rebounds, probably a little bit more steals, more blocks, shoot a higher percentage from the field. You understand? Probably has a higher PER, defensive rating, all that. But would you say that he's a better player than Steph Curry? No, right? So using the statistics to compare players is just not the way to go. They're relevant to a certain degree, but we always have to factor in play styles, team, era, position, right? The reason why we can do this with a Steph Curry and a Damian Lillard is because not only do they play the same position, they play relatively close to the same. The biggest difference between Dame and Steph, at least in my opinion, is Steph Curry has a better IQ in terms of team, in terms of how to get his teammates involved, and his play style is much more team-oriented and friendly, to which everyone can stay into the flow of the rhythm of the offense. Damian Lillard is a little bit more shot jacky. He's way less efficient. Again, Damian Lillard is probably like, a career 43% shooter from the field. Steph Curry is a career 47.7 or something like that. Of course, off-ball movement. Steph Curry setting the screen, setting the picks, constant moving, cutting, and also he's a better defender than Damian Lillard too. By the way, that's not even close.
Damian Lillard was born with ice water in his veins. You know, Steph Curry had to get there. Steph Curry against LeBron James. Not saying Damian Lillard's always been perfect in the playoffs. Drew Holiday did a number on him, and team defense did too, as he points out, as Lillard points out. But Steph Curry was running the best half-court offense in the history of basketball. Couldn't score in the last 4.5 minutes in a Game 7 at home. In a 73-win team and lost the finals. That's not good. Damian Lillard to me, Stephen A. Good. Damian Lillard was born with the clutch gene. And he's 2 years younger and still getting better. Here's the other thing. Steph Curry tries to play defense. He's just not very good at it. But he is a guy who's present defensively. Damian Lillard, to me, went from a guy who didn't play defense, he wasn't even really trying, it looked to me early in his career, to a pretty good
Stop
defender.
it.
I actually think Damian
Get some
Lillard is
help.
an underrated defender right now, especially in high-leverage situations. I've seen him mature that way, and between the two, I'll take Lillard on defense. Between the two, I'll take Lillard's trajectory. Between the two, I'll take Lillard's clutch